Welcome to the Kids Biz Podcast, your go-to source for unlocking the secrets to success in orthodontics and pediatric dentistry. Each episode, we bring you expert guests who share innovative strategies and insider tips to help your practice thrive. Whether you're looking to enhance patient care, boost your marketing, or stay ahead of industry trends, we've got you covered. Join us on this exciting journey to elevate your practice and make a lasting impact in the lives of your young patients. Let's dive in.
Hey, Dr. Ashley, happy, what even month are we in? May. Happy
I know.
May.
This year's been a blur.
I know.
But I'm super excited. We have such a fun conversation today. I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about AI, Claude in particular, and how we could implement. It's such a new tool out there. And I'm so excited for our guest. But why don't you go ahead and introduce him, Davin?
Yeah. So everybody, today we've got Dr. Nick Valeri, and he's from Kenosha, Wisconsin. Originally did his undergrad at the Marquette University, and then went to dental school and orthodontic residency there as well. And he has been a busy guy over the last few years. He opened his first practice in 2015 and has opened a second practice in 2020. What a year to open a practice. And we'll probably talk a little bit about that. And then he opened up a kids dentist location a couple of years ago, and is now about to open this summer his third orthodontic location. So, with all of that, Dr. Nick, welcome to Kids Biz Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I initially found out about you because I was scrolling on Orthopreneurs about looking for people talking about Claude, because I had a huge administrative person leave, and I've been hearing all these things about how Claude can, you use co-work and do all these things. So I'm like, okay, who knows? What can I do before I dive in? And I saw one of your comments, and you were talking about all the things that you have been working on. And I was like, we have to have him on the podcast, because I genuinely think that orthodontic offices that learn AI in the next 2 years are going to massively outperform the offices that just kind of ignore it. I feel like I've been using Claude for the last 4 weeks, and it's now it's only been 4 weeks. It feels like it's been my coworker for a while here. But it's literally replacing hours of tedious just reports over the last weeks. And I feel like I'm just scratching the surface. So I'm so excited to hear how you're implementing it. And I'll talk a little bit about how I've been using it. But first, kind of tell us, how did you discover Claude? What type of AI were you doing before? And kind of for those listeners that may not be tech people, what is Claude in a most basic sense?
Sure. Yeah, I started several years ago when ChatGPT came out. Used it for all kinds of cool stuff. But, at the beginning, it used to hallucinate. I don't know if you remember that, where it would give incorrect information, would say
And
all
you'd
kinds
call
of
it out.
and historical things that were completely out of left field. But, as more and more AI has come in, Gemini, Claude, Grok, all that stuff, I've used all of them. They're all good at different things. But especially Claude, I started using maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I was at an angel aligner meeting in Maui, and I was on the beach, and I was surfing X or Twitter, and I saw people posting about it, and I thought, oh, maybe I should try this. And while I'm sitting on the beach, I messed around with it and created my own patient feed presentation slider. And then it's just kind of been an addiction since then, where I just think of cool things I can do to save me time, or things that were super annoying that I didn't like doing that I wanted to automate. But I guess the difference with Claude, like your question was they do a lot of coding where you can make your own applications. Does a lot of the same stuff as ChatGPT and Gemini, maybe not as much image generation stuff, but making applications, especially for orthodontics. There's so many that I can get into that I've done so far. So yeah, it's just one of many tools that you can use, but it's got it's kind of the AI of the moment right now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of offices are using AI kind of like a toy in a sense. I was that person. I used it for my Instagram captions, or maybe to give me ideas for social media, but that was really kind of it. And it wasn't until I was like forced to kind of use it in a different way, in more of like an operational way, was I really just amazed by it and by what it can do. Um, so for our listeners that really don't even haven't even played with AI, like how would you say that it's different from ChatGPT or from Google? Or I know Davin, like you guys use like actual virtual assistants from like the Philippines. Um, just for those people
Yeah.
that are like non-techie people.
Yeah, ChatGPT was probably like one of the first main ones on the market there, and again, this all changes day to day as they
Yeah.
update their new version. Things can change. One minute, one will be more powerful than the other. But ChatGPT is more for general, I'd say. Right now, questions, I use it for image generation, which they just released a new update to their image generation. Gemini is really good at images and videos. And I guess it integrates with like Gmail and anything Google related, while Claude is mostly coding and making like cool documents or PDFs or PowerPoints. Grok, I'd say, which is X's AI, is more so like, I'd say it's the most updated because it relies on people's X feeds. So if you ask it a question, it'll be more current. Or if you ask ChatGPT something that happened in the news a couple days ago, it'll have no idea what you're talking about. So I'd say those are, I guess, the main differences between those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, and I'll just jump in here and say, we have actually been using AI more. That we've kind of been replacing some of our virtual assistants with AI, the more
Mm,
that it becomes more accurate, more versatile. Our problem was that we had an issue with scaling and hiring employees to do some of the, years ago before AI was a thing, or accessible for small businesses and stuff. And so um, we also like to be able to give um, instruction to someone, and then they could do it while we were sleeping, and then we'd wake up in a project or a report or something. And so a lot of the reporting, data analytics, building of PowerPoint decks and all that stuff, we've now almost exclusively utilized some of kind of all the different AIs that are out there, and we switch back and forth, kind of like it sounds like Dr. Nick does. you know a few months ago it was ChatGPT. Now we're kind of exploring what Claude is about, and kind of depending on what the project is. So
I'm having chat write my prompts to put into Claude. Isn't that funny? So I'm telling ChatGPT kind of what I'm wanting, and then being like, write my prompt to put it into Claude Cowork. And dude, what they spit me out is just money.
yeah,
But yeah, we'll get into all that fun stuff.
and
I know, Nick, that you had mentioned that some of just like the clinical uses. You already talked about the fee slider. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, how did you make it? Are you using it in every single consult now? Um, I would love to even like throw up or like even show our listeners like a visual later if you don't mind us sharing that.
Sure. Yeah,
Um,
I can share something in the Facebook group there, but um, how I got started with it, I was just thinking, I look at my financials every month and I see how much money I spend on software.
right.
And I'm like, what? This costs this much? And some of these programs like fee sliders, like in the past, I was like, this is why, I mean, people like these, but I'm paying, $200-300 for it. I thought this seems very easy to make. And I've debated like hiring someone to make my own. But what I did is I just, it's called vibe coding in Claude, where you just sort of type what you want to have, and then you just kind of adjust it. The thing though with Claude is if you're not on a higher paid tier, for tokens, it may take you a long time to make something. So you are kind of replacing one software price with another, but if you're maximizing the amount that you can make with Claude, that improves it. But with the slider, we just started implementing it. There's a lot of different ways that. So what we do is I mean, as opposed to, we used Simple Consult before, which used to be
Mhm.
called Oracle. Now what we can do is we can customize anything. I have a picture of braces or aligners, or you can customize if you want to add, retainer club or whatever. Where as opposed to the other software, you're stuck with their sort of user interface. You can make whatever you want with Claude. You can put your logo in there. You can make it whatever style you want. But we're just starting to implement it in our office, clinically. Otherwise, things that mentioned that just took a lot of my time and was a huge pain were extraction referrals. Um, I just didn't like what my software did, my patient management software did for extraction referrals. So I made my own program. It takes me 10 seconds to do extraction referrals right now. And they look very professional and polished and branded. And they have the pictures of the teeth. I used AI to take a vector of teeth and sort of mimic primary teeth as well. Just stuff like that. Even patient letters. Those are the main things I hate doing. I sort of automated and to make it easier for my day-to-day life.
Now, are you still having to input in all of the information, or is it like connected to your software to where it's an actual automatic process?
So I just type in the patient's name and the dentist, and I click the teeth. I don't have it automated through Grayfinch just yet.
Okay.
I know they're releasing a lot of AI stuff. I do a bunch of other stuff that's integrated with Grayfinch, more so with reports. But clinically, right now, the stuff that I have are just on my computer, and we'll get into the whole PHI stuff, HIPAA compliant stuff in a little bit
Yeah.
if you'd like. But
Kiss-
everything's just local.
So
Okay.
can you walk us through just a kind of a basic overview of the workflow for writing those letters? Like you log into Claude and then you type it and then what does that look like, that basic workflow?
Yeah, so I go into Claude and I'll say, make me a program that is good for extraction referrals or making letters to send to my referring dentist. And I kind of used like a template of what I used before and what I wanted to say. Because with the patient letters too for with Grayfinch, I just didn't love what it came up with, and I wanted something personalized that I wanted. So you'll keep having to correct Claude. You'll have to say this, adjust this and so forth. And sometimes there's errors where the program doesn't work. But what it'll do is it'll spit out code, and it's normally in HTML code. Sometimes they have Java codes. Again, I'm not an expert in any sort of coding or anything like that.
Sure.
So I've just messed around with it for so much. But so once you get what you like, it'll show you previews too. You can download it and you can host it locally on your computer where it's not on a website or anyone else can access. So with patient information that you type in for an extraction referral, it's not compromised or anything like that.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Yeah,
I
I've
think
got a buddy who's like sent me a web page and the whole web, I mean, it looked beautiful and it looked like a huge, big firm had made it and it was all Claude. So pretty cool. And he had it
Yeah,
coded and everything.
I can expand on that a little bit too. During right before COVID, I got an email from my website developer or host, and they said, "Hey, we're canceling your hosting. You're gonna have to pay." And I said, "What? Like you said this was gonna be, as long as I want." So then COVID happened. I'm like, I'm gonna see if I can make my own website. So I made my own website during COVID. That's another thing where I see what people are paying for websites these days, and I know there's a couple big companies in the orthodontic world where it's outrageous how much they
they're
charge.
$10,000 to
Yeah,
$20,000.
I'd say that's
Oh, that's on the low
modest.
end. You
That's
can get
Is it
some
modest.
that
low?
are you
I've
can get
seen
some that
30.
are 80 or 100.
Oh,
But
wow.
anyways, so I made my own website and it looked pretty good. But recently I just went into Claude and had it spit out some code. If you know how to do a little bit of website design using Claude with their HTML code, I updated my website. It helped me with SEO. It helped me with Google Business. I mean, I saved so much money by doing it myself. And you can check out my website. It's mostly done by Claude. So
Oh my
it
gosh.
got me a little
Now
bit.
I'm for sure going to go look. I'm
Uh,
super interested.
well,
It
I'm on it
copied.
right now and it looks great. And the information where you've got like your flexible payment options and then all the different kinds of brackets and stuff you offer. I mean, it looks great.
All right. Now you guys I'm going to it too.
I mean, and then I'm also like, maximize it for SEO, put in the terms that we need for the cities.
Yes.
And
Well, and
um,
like what's really popular right now is targeting SEO, but for in chat. And so I was about to have my redo my website for doing that. And yeah, I mean, yeah, the quotes come back and they're very, very expensive. So, all right, let's see. Dang, this looks good. Yeah,
It
you did
copied a
well.
little bit from some of the work that I did previously, but anyone
Sure.
can make, if they have a little bit of well, if you have YouTube. I went on YouTube and learned how to make a website. So
Right?
anyone
YouTube
want to save their
University.
$40,000, go ahead and make your own website.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing about Claude is like in a month, it's going to be like, I couldn't right now make a website with Claude. Like, I think have a little bit more coding. I'm very just like basic. But in a month, things could completely change, and it's just wild how quickly things are moving. You were talking about in the Facebook group too how you are like tracing Cephs with it. Do you trace all of your Cephs, by the way?
No, I
Okay,
don't.
okay. I was like, oh man,
Uh, no, so
making me feel inadequate over here.
with Greyfinch, they don't even have a Ceph tracing ability. I think they just integrated something where you can pay a company like $3 or whatever. And as I was messing around with Claude, I'm like, I wonder if I could make my own Ceph tracing software. And
Yeah,
so, I mean, I don't even remember how much time I made it a couple months ago, but it's accurate and it's free. And if I need to trace something, it gives me an analysis of what the numbers mean.
yeah,
It will print it out. It'll color code it as well. You can save it into your documents. So it is something, I thought, or people, you have these companies where they charge you for their software. I'm like, well, now people can just do it for free. So I
yeah.
shared a link of it, and there's just so much more in the future that's going to be automated and free.
So I haven't really messed around with like the coding side of Claude. Now, is it the same as in like co-work where you're saving this to a skill and then you could just repeat it as a skill? Is that how it works in the coding side as well?
Oh, you're missing out then. There's so much more you can do if you're not
Oh,
using.
I've just scratched the surface. I'm just in co-work. I'm just trying to figure out how Claude can do work for me while I'm sleeping. But yes, I'm not the coding type yet, but I'm waiting for it to get a little bit more user friendly. I've messed around with it a little bit, and I just realized it's a little bit still over my head. But
I don't use the co-work too much, but it does have a little bit of. It saves all your chats. The
okay,
memory compared to like ChatGPT, I don't think it has as good of a memory. Like if you type in the ChatGPT, tell me all the things about myself or
yeah,
whatever, you'll get a big sort of, which is pretty accurate depending how much you use it. Where Claude is more, each chat is something different.
independent.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so on the co-work side, you save it into a skill and then then you just go into that skill each time and then you start from there. But yeah, it's just every little section is, their chat is different than their co-work than the coding side. But
Hmm.
I mean, I really don't think wait, maybe one day AI will replace orthodontists, but I feel like at this point where it's best helping us is it's just removing friction from work that we just really hate doing. And I think that that's like kind of the best part. So tell me about your like observation tracker, your AR tracker. What are you using Claude to have it do right now?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, we use Greyfinch, and they are, I don't know if they're the only or one of the only PMS systems that have an open API.
I
What
know
that means,
you're so lucky. I have Dolphin and
yeah.
I'm like stuck.
Oh, we switched from Dolphin last year, so it's been a huge. We used it
I've
for the
never heard of
ortho and the
Greyfinch.
pediatric office. It's awesome. It's browser based. You don't have to worry about a server, and I can look at it from home. And there's so many different apps that connect it. And there's only going to be more and more. Like it connects to the Taro app. It connects to your Invisalign site. It connects to Lead Sigma, all kinds of cool stuff, and it keeps adding more and more. So
How's the pedo
um,
module? Because I feel like that's kind of where every software kind of just sucks.
that's the thing. There is no pediatric module right now. We split them
Oh,
into
okay.
separate. It was just Dolphin was just okay at both. It was just too difficult to have something that worked well for pediatrics. So we just decided to split them up last year.
Okay.
And they're both we use Oryx for the pediatric office, but
Okay.
it doesn't they're both cloud based, so it's
Okay.
it's easy to access either of them. So
I'll have to look into Grayfinch because I'll get into this later, but the rate limiting, like I feel like I could do so much with co-work if Claude could communicate with Dolphin, but because it's not an open API, like I will talk about it soon, but I'm having someone in the background work on making a connector for me, but you got to be HIPAA compliant. And yeah, there's a lot of loopholes that we're jumping through currently for it, um but yeah, is there anything else that you feel like has been just a game changer that Claude has been doing that we haven't mentioned yet?
yeah, so I'll get, and you asked a question before about how my observation tracker and all that stuff. So another software
Oh,
that I
yes.
was like,
Sorry. We got way off
why am
topic.
I
Thank you.
okay? Like, why am I not why am I spending money on it? Dude, I checked it all the time, but Grayfinch doesn't link with Gauge, and Grayfinch's current
Oh, okay.
API trackers or is not the best. It is just very, very minimal. So with the Open
Mhm.
API, I made an app and from Claude to do that, you have to you have to get a key from Grayfinch there to allow you to be able to access your data. But with
Right.
that, it took a long time to make apps with Claude because Claude had to learn how Grayfinch worked, and Grayfinch had a website where it lists everything. So I had to copy and paste a million different things from a Grayfinch website to Claude to be able to connect it. But what I have now is I made a file that shows me all my KPIs. It looks just like Gauge. It updates instantly. Or I don't know if Gauge has changed recently, but it used to be it would only update in the middle of the night. So this will update instantly. It'll show me my collections, my productions. It'll show me how many new patients I have scheduled, all the same stuff that Gauge has. But I also have it separated into 3 other sections where we have an accounts receivable section where it shows who's coming in that day and how much they owe, who's 30, 60, 90 plus days, all that information, who you should reach out to, and so forth. And then also showing new patients tracker, which I kind of religiously look at where I want to see how many new patients were scheduled that day, how many new patients we have in the future. It'll show us also the new patient exams that we had. Did they schedule? Are they observation? Did they not schedule? And then also how many starts that are going in the future too as well. And
So
if
this is all just automatic because you have that connection from
Yep,
Grayfinch to
mhm,
Claude. Oh,
yep. I spent
see,
a
this
lot of
is
time.
what I am like dreaming of when with my software engineer right now because Dolphin, I mean, I wonder how many I assumed that all ortho practice management software didn't connect to Claude. So this is a first. You may be converting me to Grayfinch.
Well, if they wanna give me a month or 2 for free for, promoting them, I'll take it too, so
Yeah, right,
I'll
right.
I'll
Mhm.
ask Jake about it and see.
Is he our
They're
sales guy?
He's the CEO.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
Grayfinch, here we go.
Mm.
Yeah, because okay, so I guess we're just getting into it. So, uh, I because I'm on the co-work side and I'm trying to figure out. I think we just spoke about this a little bit before, but I just had my COO move out of state, and my world flipped upside down overnight. I've like had such a comfy lifestyle. I've only been working 2 clinical days, taking care of my kids. And now I'm like, how am I going? I had the decision tree of do I rehire her position or do I take it on myself? And in the short term, I've decided I'm going to take it on myself. And that's what drove me into Claude and like trying to figure out how much can Claude do because she would just have so much reporting that she did. And a lot of it is very tedious work. We like calculate crazy KPIs like our hygiene utilization rate. So like we literally look at the schedule every single day and we count how many open spots there were versus how many were filled, just like crazy stuff. And it's all manual. And I'm like, okay, if I can have Claude do this and update it on a daily basis, like, oh, this would be life changing for me. And I feel like for a lot of people, I mean, just the amount of crazy KPIs that you could be tracking if you didn't have to manually go and do it. So yeah, I have a software engineer working on it for me, but I have to get the enterprise. He won't even let me connect until I have the enterprise version of Claude. And I don't know who is running customer service over there, but it's been 2-3 weeks and no one's gotten back to me for me to pay more to use their product. So yeah, that's kind of the little standstill I'm at. So, yeah, we use it for more so less. I feel like you're like using it for like building things, which is super cool. I can't wait to get into that. But I've kind of been using it to like automate processes that have just been like super like, how do you calculate your associate pay, Nick? Is it just like a daily rate, or are they like paid on production? Yeah.
For the ortho, it's a daily.
Okay.
For the children's office, it's a salary plus a percentage of collections.
If you're like most orthodontic and pediatric dental practices, you're probably struggling with oral hygiene compliance, observation conversions, and an increase of shoppers, especially among young patients and their families. In my practice, Wild Smiles makes converting observation and phase 1 patients easy. Young patients and their shopping families value a personalized experience. When I first added Wild Smiles to my practice, they made inventory and reordering easy, and they even led our team through simple instructions on integrating Wild Smiles into our existing systems. So we saw an immediate success. Grow your early orthodontic patient population with Wild Smiles to combat boring traditional braces and expensive phase 1 aligners. Check out wildsmilebraces.com/doctors to choose the customizable Easy Start Kit that's right for your practice. Mention code KIDSBIZ to save 10% off your first order.
Okay. So how we like calculate our associate pay gets a little nitty gritty because I run hygiene columns on my ortho days. So I can't just pay him like a strict percentage of production. I have to like go through and figure out which days did I work, which days did he work. We also don't pay for pro fees when a hygienist is present. And so it's just like, again, tedious, like taking things out. And so I built a skill, and Claude literally can do it in 30 seconds and is accurate every time. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Like these are the things that get me so excited because the first time I did it, it took me like 2-3 hours to calculate his pay, and we had to do that every 2 weeks. So now Claude could do it in 30 seconds. So things like that just get me super excited.
Actually, another thing, I know we talked about the integration with Greyfinch, but if you have a different software and you can export your reports to an Excel sheet, you can make an app where you put that Excel sheet in and it'll make it look
but
real
it's like
pretty
still the work. And yes, that's what I'm currently doing. I'm exporting to Excel and then putting it in. But like anything, I want to be able to open up my computer and it have the KPIs accurate to that moment right then and there. Like having to go through to practice management and get the thing and then export it and then save it and then drag it into Claude. Like, now I'm sounding lazy, but if I can build a connection and I don't have to do that and it's automatic, like now I don't even have to go into the office another day a week,
No.
So, have you been using it all for like any like marketing, or have you like dove into ideas that Claude can do for any of your marketing?
All kinds of stuff. Not just
what have you
Claude
done?
too.
Okay.
One cool thing that we did is Google's pretty good with their videos. ChatGPT kind of dabbled in that with a little bit before they shut it down. But I do a lot of Facebook marketing or Instagram as well, and it made a video around Halloween time. I entered all these prompts and stuff where I had a Frankenstein just looking, kind of scary right away, and then he just has a big smile with braces on, and then says a logo, just like a quick, short little 6-second video just to get people's attention, and it links to the website there too as well. But also it does Claude does a great job kind of walking you through what you should do for your Google My Business page, which is pretty big for us. We're in Kenosha County, one of our main offices, but we're technically like 10 feet away from the city of Kenosha. We're in Pleasant Prairie. So Google search is a little difficult when you look up Kenosha orthodontist and you're in Pleasant Prairie. So we were at a little bit of a disadvantage. So I've used Claude a lot to help me with my Google business page. And like we mentioned with the website, with just the SEO helped out there too as well.
So what are you asking? Like dive in for someone that, again, that's like still over my head. What exactly are you asking Claude to help you with your Google My Business?
So I'd be like, can you help me sort of optimize my Google My Business? I want to be, number one in the maps or whatever. What should I be doing? And we kind of slacked on the Google page for a while. So what it does, which is really cool as opposed to like ChatGPT, is it will make like an outline. It'll give you a PDF. You can make it give you, a PowerPoint as well. And it'll say step by step what you should do. So this isn't necessarily like the program making the Claude coding, but it's more of sort of just a step by step process and how we can do that. And I followed it pretty closely, and I have seen some definite improvements in our ranking over the last couple months there since I started with the website and the Google My Business. So if anyone listening wants to, sort of work on their Google My Business, it'll look up your business right away too, and it'll give you a little bit more information on your business and what you should be writing and sort of categorizing yourself as. So that worked really well. And again, that is something that you'll pay someone else thousands upon thousands of dollars to do, or you can do it yourself in 20 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, you have to literally think of like Claude as like a consultant. Like give him all of your reports and just be like analyze and critique, show me areas of opportunities. I mean, yeah, I've just kind of been using it as like a consultant lately and getting really great insights from that alone.
I I'm gonna go back to kind of what we were talking about with how you use it to kind of create this dashboard.
Mm.
Just kind of I mean, the idea is the same, but kind of a fun example is I've got a buddy who's super into golf. So he runs this like golf league where every couple weekends they, will have a betting pool on, you know, whatever golf tournament is on. And so he had Claude create a website that he could put up, and then it puts in the inputs of the different people in the different leagues, and they know how big the pot is, and he puts that in, and then it pulls the real-time scores of the players, and then based on the score at the cut, it drops those players out, and then it calculates who's in first, where they are with the money, all that stuff. And so that's the same kind of principle that you're talking about, Dr. Nick, with like pulling this information into a dashboard that is super helpful for real-time information on all KPIs for your business.
Yeah,
Mm.
but it sounds like you have to have Greyfinch currently to do it. Another thing that I used Claude for recently for marketing that I thought was just like so cool is use so our floors are getting redone and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna have all of my assistants do for a week without being able to go into work? So I was like, we're gonna create a bunch of like kits and I'm gonna have them drop it off for like marketing. And historically, to create like an Excel of like where they need to go and who we were gonna target, I'd literally go to Google Maps and put in like, pediatricians and then go and like take all the information, Google it, go put it into an Excel sheet. And you guys, within like 2 minutes, it gave me in Excel color, like beautiful, just how you were talking about. Like their aesthetics is like amazing. And they put it even in our SoCo colors because they know what my SoCo colors are.
Yeah.
And they make this beautiful color coordinated from a driving, telling the assistant, this is the first location you're going to go to, it's closest to SoCo with the last. And it gives them all the information about the office. And it just gives all of my demographic analysis of like who I'm trying to target. So right now we're putting together like a dental emergency kit and we're going to target like summer camps, karate classes, swim camps, dance classes, that sort of stuff. And within minutes, I mean, literally that stuff would take me hours trying to accumulate where we're going to drop off all this stuff to. And it's just so amazing how quickly they can shoot you out this information. And of course, like the first few times you're using Claude and I'm always making this a skill in defining it and making sure so that when I do it again, it's even that much quicker. But it's been that alone just was so like mind blowing to me. I was like, wow. Hours saved. I love it. So, where do you see, Nick, kind of the future of AI and dentistry going? Like, do you think, obviously, we're always gonna, unless there's robots putting braces on teeth and doing cleanings, like, we're always gonna need, like, our clinical staff. But do you think in the very near future that we're gonna need less, like, administrative people? Um, what roles do you think are gonna be automated? What roles do you think are gonna be more important? Um, where do you kinda see all that going?
Yeah, like you said, I hope they don't take our jobs, unless people take their own scans and make their own aligners, and which they've already kind of done. But
Right.
definitely a ton of
And it
administrative
failed.
jobs will be. Yeah, I know, right? Hopefully, still they keep coming back, but
Yeah.
a lot of administrative stuff, accounting. I mean, I pay so much for my accountant every month. It takes me forever for them to get my information back. I put my financials into Claude and it pops out, and like you said, in a minute, and it gives me like a P&L where I'm
Yeah.
spending significant amount every month for that. Sure, I don't trust it, and if I get audited, I'm not going to say Claude did my taxes or anything like that. But accounting for sure. Isn't it like graphic design for sure as well for your marketing? Graphic designers and accountants, they're lawyers, all their days are pretty much numbered, unfortunately. But in the office, probably financial people, receptionists. We use right now. We use the Lead Sigma AI that integrates with Grayfinch too as well. We have two receptionists answering the phone calls, but a lot get missed. And if we miss a new patient phone call, they may call the next person. So a couple months ago, we signed up with Lead Sigma, and then we have like a virtual AI assistant that answers the phone if they're a new patient, and they'll schedule them. We've had a ton of success with that. I was kind of, sort of dubious of it at first, but we've had, I don't know, at least every month, we probably have at least 15 people that schedule a new patient exam that we missed a phone call for. So scheduling, yeah, financial, those are the main ones. Assistance, that stuff is kind of, like you mentioned, hands-on.
Yeah.
You don't trust a robot to do any of that stuff. I wouldn't trust a robot to do anything in my mouth, but um,
Hey, they're
those are
like
the big
doing
ones.
surgeries, heart surgeries out there. I mean, the minute that they got a robot to put on braces, let's try it out. We're
Hopefully, I'm okay.
understaffed out here in California. I'll take a robot. Well, that's really, yeah. I mean, Davin, where do you kind of see the industry going?
Yeah, I mean, I think we still obviously we view experience as a really high value for our brand and for the supporting our clients. And so I do think there are some areas where there's still value in people wanting to talk to a person or work with a person, even though that might not be the most efficient, most cost effective option. We have outsourced to AI, like you said, Dr. Nick, a lot of administrative tasks, a lot of mundane data analysis. Um, some of our like legal help, we've kind of use it as like a backup, like
Yeah.
hey, we're gonna get it close, and then we send it to the actual attorney or the actual accountant for kind of the final approval. And then um, we've we have done a lot of like where we used to uh, maybe go to our design team to create a new deck for sales or onboarding or something like that. And we've got we use something called Todoist, which is like an online to-do list project management type system. There's a lot of Monday.com. There's a lot of different ones out there, but Claude will connect to Todoist. It will bring in all the like tasks, and so let's say we have one that's like, we want to update some things in our onboarding process. And we've identified 50 different kind of updates, whether that's a process update or text or messaging update. And it will pull it into Claude, and it will then, we load in the deck. Claude sees, hey, this is what the deck is. This is what the updates are that you want to make. It will add the update into the deck, um, kind of do the visuals if you wanted to, and then out pops a deck. That might take, you know, 2 hours of time from one of our employees, where before that would take 3 weeks to communicate that with external or even an internal marketing team. So a lot of stuff like that that we're using it for.
So Nick, if an orthodontist or a pediatric dentist is listening and they kind of want to start today, they haven't dabbled, what would you tell them is the first thing that they should do? Maybe to learn about it or just to put their toe in?
Just dive in head first. It's make an account.
Not the
You don't have
toe.
to, yeah, you don't have to. You may run into a little restriction on how much you can use it if you're using the free version, but just type in whatever you want to do and see where it takes you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Because honestly, even saving like 5 to 10 hours a week of administrative work can literally change your life as an owner. And it could spit it out in minutes. So, any last remarks, Nick? I think that your time here has been so valuable. I feel so thankful. I definitely want to use you as a resource too, because I feel like we've been using it in different applications. And I need to, like you said, dive with my head first, not my toe, into the coding side.
Yeah, I can list a couple other things
Yeah, tell me.
that I've made. Yeah, so one really cool one is I have a file a program that will simply just go over like home care instructions,
Okay.
which is cool. But there's a portion of it where it connects to the Claude API, and to do that, you need to pay for tokens, which it maybe costs a cent every time someone uses it. But essentially, what it is, you can type in any food that you think, and it'll spit out whether it's safe for braces or not. Cool. Then it'll like post a little emoji of like what the food is, and it's pretty accurate. It was a little too lenient at first, so I had to make it be a little stricter. But it was fun to mess around with. I entered even like Tide Pods. Is that safe to eat with braces? And it
Oh,
said,
that's
"Don't
hilarious.
eat Tide Pods. That's detergent. It'll get you sick." But I thought that was pretty cool to use for where patients can use that. We can connect that to the
So is that
website.
like an app that you made, or how did the patients use it?
Yeah, so it's an app that it's just an HTML coding that you can put onto your website.
Got it.
So just
Okay.
copy the file and you can make your own page. There's no patient information or anything like that. So
Yeah.
it can be hosted on the website there. Another cool thing that we just started using is I know some people will have like sandwich boards where they write like welcome, whatever the
Hmm.
new patient's name. So we have a TV. We have TVs pretty much everywhere. So in our new patient room, we have a very polished looking sort of screen that you can change and say the patient's name and welcome, with our logo and just sort of like animation and stuff like that, where you can use a Google Chromecast and you can cast it from your console computer to the TV. It's just little personal touches like that on debond days, bonding days, stuff like that. Um, I mean, there's so many different things that we use. Even stuff at home. I made a nanny pay calculator too as well for,
I
mileage and
need that.
hours and stuff where you just type that in and if you're not sure how to make it, just type it in, it'll come up with something. But also we see a ton of Spanish speaking patients at one of our offices. And I made an app that my staff can use where it has all the most common terms or sayings, and you can even like click a little microphone button, and or a speaker button, and it'll say you how to say it in Spanish too, the proper pronunciation. Just so many different things that you can do, and I'm sure I've just sort of done a tiny bit of what I've done so far, but all kinds of cool stuff. If you can dream it, it can pretty much make it for the most part.
I got it.
That's crazy.
So that food braces friendly food thing. So is that accessible from your website?
I I have a link right now. I could send it to you, but I haven't
Well,
like made it open for, searching or anything like
gotcha.
that. But I can definitely send it to you.
It just seems really interesting. That's a really cool application that I hadn't really thought of. So I'd love to see it for sure. Or
Yeah, because parents
share it
always
in
like
the
want a
yeah, for
list,
sure. I'll
and
send
I'm
it to you.
like, well, there's not a comprehensive list. Like, there's a lot of things. Like, I can't give you a comprehensive list.
Yeah.
Well, that was really great. I am so thankful to have you on. I feel like um we're gonna probably need to even have you on again in like 6 months after Claude is updated, or maybe there's even a new Claude by then. But this world is just
Sure. Yeah.
updating so fast, and there's so much new stuff on a weekly basis. Where do you? Because so I am like a TikToker. I doom scroll on TikTok. And that's basically where I learned how to do social media. That's my YouTube is TikTok. So I learned how to use Claude through TikTok. How did, like you said, it was YouTube. That's what basically you kind of like started to kind of figure out how to use it. But like for like, again, the person that doesn't know how to do anything, where's like their first point of contact or first like educational piece to go learn about this? Or you think it's Claude itself? Just start talking to it.
So I'd say the website was more YouTube, but that was 6 years ago. Claude, I learned a lot of it on X or
On
Twitter, whatever you want to
X.
call it. Yeah,
Oh,
there's
okay.
all kinds of. If you click something, you'll get an algorithm where it keeps sending you more and more stuff on certain cool things you can do.
Interesting.
It'll give you prompts and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that. Or certain people post their own programs, but also like you mentioned, for sure, just going into Claude and seeing what it comes up with. I think that's a great way to learn. It's pretty user friendly for the most part, and that's probably honestly the best way to do it, as opposed to learning on TikTok or X. But I got a lot of information from X.
Yeah. One thing that I'll add that I like about Claude is I don't know what level plan we have, but if you max out, like you said, on the tokens, it'll kind of give you an option. Do you want to keep working on this now and pay a little more for the kind of the project, which might be 20 or $30? Or it'll say, your tokens come back, in 24 hours or whatever. And so it kind of gives you some options depending on what your budget is or what your time frame is. So that's been kind of a cool feature too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Nick, thank you so much for sharing kind of how you're using AI specifically with Claude. And like Dr. Ashley said, we'll probably have to have you back on in a few months and see where things are at, because it does change
You'll
so
have a whole
quickly.
software system by then.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure, honestly, that people will create their own EMS systems over the next couple of years. That's probably what's going to happen soon. So, yeah, well, I'm excited to see where it ends up. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well,
Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for listening to the Kids Biz podcast. We hope you gained valuable insights to elevate your practice. If you enjoyed the episode, please take a moment to leave us a review. It really helps us grow. Want to dive deeper into our community? Join the Kids Biz Facebook group for discussions, resources, and networking with fellow professionals. Until next time, keep striving for success in your ortho and pediatric practice.